people as Mordecai had instructed her. For Esther continued to obey Mordecai just as when she was reared by him. In those days, while Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, Bigthan and Tarish, two of the king's chamberlains of the guardians of the threshold, became enraged and sought to send their hand against King Ahasuerus.
Okay, let us exegete that text. So Mordecai is sitting at the king's gate. What was the king's gate? This was a large fortified entrance. It was big to the palace enclosure. You know, I told you the city was within, the palace was within the little city. There wasn't even much space between the city and the palace like any other palaces in the empire. And so they were close to each other, but Mordecai was given a post, as I said, to stay there at the gate. And it must have been that Mordecai had entered the king's service for his, somehow, because even in the movies we see that Mordecai was friendly with some of the people around the gate, and they found him honest, and they found him a man of integrity, and he was given a place to sit there and do some work for the kingdom. And so sitting there was probably that he wished to obtain news from Esther. He really wanted to know how this girl was doing inside there. And so when he got a chance of being at the gate, then he used it to be around. Let us continue. From there.
The matter became known to Mordecai, who told it to Queen Esther.
So something happened there. Let us read it. Let us read before again. Just a little bit before that. What happened?
Okay. In those days, while Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, Bigthan and Tarish, two of the king's chamberlains of the guardians of the threshold, became enraged and sought to send their hand against King Ahasuerus. The matter became known to Mordecai, who told it to Queen Esther, and Esther informed the king in Mordecai's name. The matter was investigated and found to be true.
That's
and
right.
They were both hanged on a gallows.
That's right. Let us close it. So Esther did, when Mordecai knew about this, he sent a message to Esther. And believe me, those people didn't know that they were related. So it was easy to send something because he was also sitting at the gate all the time. So this union and relation remained silent. We see this also in the Lord. Through the first 30 years, Satan didn't know that God was with us. And so the Lord was brought up after Egypt. The devil thought that there was nothing coming after Herod had also died. But he was growing silently. So we see here the Lord making a plan silently as well, hidden, but it was coming out slowly. And he gives a chance that Mordecai even listens to this happening. There are sometimes you fall into something and you're not supposed to be there at that time. But the Lord puts you there so that you can be an eyewitness to something that will save somebody, or will save the family, or will save your job. And you just hear some people planning, or you just hear something going on, and then you'll be prepared to either to get closer to the Lord or to do some reporting somewhere. So this happened, and it was planned by the Lord to happen that way. And so we see that when he was at these were doorkeepers, these people, the guards at the door were having that argument, a private talk, but they were trying to make a conspiracy to kill the king. And so when it became known to Mordecai, we see here that Mordecai, the rabbis say that it was knowledge of foreign tongues. These people were talking a foreign tongue, and they did not know that even Mordecai now knew, because he was already a native of that place. He heard them speaking. Some people make plans and they use symbols. Here we see that people ushering in the new world order are using symbols. And little things, but now we know them. Some people pass by and they can't know that this is their symbol. But now we know what they are, and we can just trace them everywhere they have printed them. And they think people are foolish. Everyone, billboards, they put, even the Olympics, they put the members who are contributing, and of course you know that they are part of it because you see the logo and you see everything, and you know what is happening. I showed you one of the Kitahulis there crunching a Visa card. And so they don't mind putting these things up as long as they think you cannot understand. So these men were making a plot in a foreign land, in a foreign tongue. This is what is given as a, an explanation, and so Mordecai overheard their conversation in a foreign language. So Josephus attributed to this information. Josephus is one of the rabbinic commentators that he attributes this to information obtained from the Jewish slave of the conspirators, but it can hardly be more than a guess to that part. It must have been distinct. You know, when people are making a plot and they're trying to whisper, but because the Lord wants you to hear it, to you it makes a lot of sense, and you know that there's something happening, and maybe the Lord opened up Mordecai's understanding. And so we see that now the plot is exposed. This was a beginning of something that would save them later on, because the king forgets about it. And Haman then comes in, the snake comes in and really plans the plot. Now the devil came in after the river Jordan, because now he realized that there was now a son of God here, not knowing that God himself was there. And he started planning to entice him. I'll give you all this kingdom. This is what we have in church today. Give you money. What has caused problem in the church ministers today are the offerings and the tithe, the big tithes of big people. Most of this money is blood money. And that's how they've really tricked the ministers into yielding to them. Because once they give you a tithe of $500,000 or 200,000 pounds, believe me, you will not say a word. But most times this money comes from shrines, and it's already dedicated with demons coming into your ministry. And if you accept that money, then they have hooked you. Through that money, you will be controlled. And once you are deep into this money, you built a magnificent church, you bought property, they tell you now we are the ones who are giving you money. And you cannot escape. A lot of ministers, as we speak today, have fallen in that trap. All that glitters is not gold. So when we see them glittering, we have to be careful, because sometimes these people know the truth, but they don't want to speak it because they're already trapped. Mordecai knew the truth, and he spoke to Esther, and the plan was exposed. They did not fear to be crucified, as people here know. When you get out, they kill you. But they went ahead and exposed it, and the king was saved. But still, there was a fight that was coming. But the Lord will always be on your side once you stick to him, obey him, and stand with the truth. Praise the living God. Let's close the meeting. Father, I give you praise and I glorify your name, and I thank you. I thank you for everything that you have